is Flahertys on Films, where we discuss movies from our totally non-expert point of view. This week, we continue our countdown at the AFI Top 100 Films with Goodfellas. Bless you.
Thank you.
Goodfellas is a film from 1990.
Sure is.
Which feels like not that long ago, but is very long ago.
It's
more than your lifetime.
Yeah.
You are a young fella.
So 27 years ago.
Well, good math.
Right, because I'm 26, and I was born in 91.
So,
should have gone a little faster than I did. It took me a while.
Shoulda. All right. The IMDb synopsis. Take it away, Michael.
The story of Henry Hill and his life through the teen years into the years of mafia, covering his relationship with his wife Karen Hill and his mob partners Jimmy Conway and Tommy DeVito in the Italian-American crime syndicate.
Can I say, I was just so blown away by how good IMDb synopsis was last week.
Mm-hmm.
Not this week. I thought
you don't think
teen
that's
years into the years of mafia is not a great sentence.
Just say the life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you seen this before?
Yeah, we watched like half of it together.
I think we watched 10 minutes of it before you came out.
No, I feel like maybe it was 10 minutes, but I did remember that opening pretty well.
I mean, do you also feel like you've seen it already because you've seen Casino?
And because I've seen Wolf of Wall Street. I'll probably bring that
These
up
are
a few
other
times.
Martin Scorsese films, for those who do not know.
But
at home.
they're very similar movies.
He is, yeah.
So,
he's sort of like a Michael Cera, if you will. Like, he does one thing, but he does it really well.
He just nails it.
Right. Much like George Michael Bluth.
Just like, yeah.
So, I have seen the film, like, a bunch of times.
Yeah, it's your favorite film.
It is not my favorite film. You're confusing it with The Godfather.
Oh, shit.
Which is understandable.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But also not, because it's very different.
Okay.
But I really liked it. Initial reactions.
Is that the section? Initial reactions?
Yes.
It's okay. I'm not crazy about it. It's not my favorite movie.
I'm surprised to hear you say that, because you really like Casino and you really like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, it's probably because it's so similar to those movies.
Like, maybe if you'd seen it first, you would have liked it better?
Yeah, and I think Wolf of Wall Street is a much better movie.
Well.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
Well, I wish we had some kind of trivia.
Let's get some context.
Yeah, that would really help our discussion going forward. So I think, maybe?
It's BAM!
Time for Sam.
Goodfellas was nominated for 6 Academy Awards, but it only won 1.
Which...
Oh, let's guess.
Yeah, I like the guessing.
I think the woman, Karen Hill, the wife, I think she won.
She did not.
Damn it. I thought that was out there.
Directing. Is that an award? Best director?
Directing is... Would you like me to give you options?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, please.
Oh, man, we were in the dark.
We were just going for it.
Best Picture, Best Director, Best Film Editing, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Supporting Actor, Joe Pesci, Best Supporting Actress, Lorraine Bracco.
I feel like I've never heard the words Oscar winner Joe Pesci, so I'm gonna put that out there.
Director for me.
I think adapted screenplay.
Joe Pesci.
Shut up!
Oh, man.
He's the only winner of the...
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of Joe Pesci, so this is obviously based on an actual mobster who did a bunch of crimes.
He was also in Home Alone.
Wasn't...
I have some facts too. It's not just you don't own facts.
It's kind of my job, but that's cool. So everyone is based off of a real person. Joe Pesci's character Tommy, Henry Hill, who obviously is the main character, stated that Joe Pesci's representation of him is 90 to 90% accurate.
Whoa, but he's so effing crazy.
Joe Pesci was actually in his 40s at the time of filming, where the character was in his 20s, but the most biggest discrepancy of the character versus the actual real life person was the fact that he was actually this big, muscular man versus
Joe
Pesci.
is a bit diminutive.
A little.
Tiny.
But other than that, 90 to 90% accurate on his character.
All right.
I feel like I wouldn't admit that, but...
To keep with the authenticity, they had a lot of real mobsters on this set and were actually extras, so they actually knew the characters who were being represented in the film. They could give feedback. Apparently, they gave the studio all fake social securities, and to this day, it's not really known how they got paid.
It's a cool fact. Hollywood's a dirty business.
The word fuck is said 321 times at an average of 2.04 times a minute.
Cool.
The script only actually had it 70 times, but there was so much improv in the film that it got thrown in about, 300 more times pretty much. It was actually the number one sworn, or movie with swearing in it for its time. It was a big deal.
It was the number one? What do you mean?
It had the most swear words.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Now it's 12th, but...
I like you saying it, the number one.
But actually, to get an R rating, they had to remove 10 frames of blood from this film. It wasn't the swearing that gave it its rating, it was the violence. And so 10 frames of blood had to be removed.
It was pretty yucky.
It is. The AFI, has another list that this movie is on. It's number 2 in gangster films.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And my last fact is there's actually a second movie that came out literally a month after this first one that is the story of Henry Hill's life after he entered the witness protection program. It was written by Nora
In the Hills.
Nephron.
Oh, good.
Okay.
It's called My Blue Heaven, and it stars Steve Martin, Rick Moranis, and Joan Cusack.
That sounds hilarious.
It is a comedy.
Oh,
Interesting.
All right.
So the writer of Goodfellas was married to Nora Ephron at the time, so it was kind of a duel.
All right,
Okay,
fantastic.
those are good facts. That was Bam.
Time for Sam.
I also here's a couple. Yes, yay!
Yay.
Well done. I know a couple other facts that the movie shares a bunch of actors with The Sopranos, which
Yes.
is not surprising. But in The Sopranos, they always reference The Godfather and never Goodfellas.
Oh, interesting.
That's including and the biggest role is like the wife is Tony Soprano's psychiatrist, and she's kind of amazing.
That's really funny.
Yeah. I think that's my only fact. I can't believe Joe Pesci won an Academy Award.
He was good.
He's good. Also,
Great.
every time I think of Henry Hill, I think of Harold Hill from The Music Man.
I think of Henry Higgins.
Oh, so we're both
So we're
musically minded.
Yeah.
I'm Professor Harold Hill. Anyway. So, the plot. We follow Henry Hill from a youngin' to an oldin'.
So I'm looking at the notes here. Did you follow the plot? You know, I thought I did while watching the movie, but when I think about it, I feel like there were so many scenes that I forget. There's so many. It kind of meanders, the movie.
I don't feel like there is, like, the plot is like, this is his life and these are vignettes from his life, right? Like, it's not like there's a beginning, middle, and end so much as, I mean, I guess we're seeing his spiral downward into drugs and into he can't handle the crime life anymore, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't really, what's the central conflict here in Goodfellas?
I mean, that's not the appeal of this movie, is, oh man, that conflict. How is our hero going to confront that conflict? It was more just about, whoa, this is a really interesting look into this person's life.
Right. So here's a larger question about films like this, about The Godfather, about Sopranos. Do you think that these sort of things glamorize being in the mob? Like, even though they kind of have a downfall and it's bad, they still, like, I feel like in the movie, like in the beginning, when they're just all buddies and they're all looking out for each other and this is just how blue-collar guys make a living, it's like, it almost still does seem glamorized a bit.
Well, I think the movie would, if it's successful, if it does do that, it wants to put you in the mind of the main character. It wants to make you feel like, hey, this is awesome. We're a part of this awesome club. And then maybe if the movie has some kind of message, it kind of veers into the bad parts later in the film.
I guess, yeah. But it seems like later in the film, they're like, oh, this actually all would have been great if A, he wasn't friends with the sociopath Joe Pesci, and B, didn't get into drugs. It feels like without those two things, everything would have been perfect and great forever.
Maybe the message of the film is you don't get one without that. You don't get to be in the perfect... There's no such thing as a perfect mafia.
Well, maybe they should try hard.
I think that was the suggested title.
You just can't get a perfect mafia.
Yeah.
Do you think it's aged well? I mean...
No. Because
Whoa.
because Wolf of Wall Street came out. That's a way better movie.
I don't know if I agree, but I think because I've just seen Goodfellas so many times and loved it from the beginning, and the acting in it's so good. And I don't know, Wolf of Wall Street... So, the real guy, Henry Hill, like, he went down and he lost his whole livelihood and he went to prison, whatever, and then he went to witness protection. Like, Jordan Belfort, he was this gross person who scammed a bunch of people.
Good remember.
And then And he's fine, and he's doing fine, and he gets to be in a cool movie and where he has this cool, sexy life where he's married to a hottie.
But I still feel like that movie, even though that is the real story, it had a better arc. Like, just from watching this movie, and this isn't, I do like this movie, but I just felt like halfway through he's in prison for his crimes.
I love that part.
But then he gets out of prison, and then he's in trouble again. It just felt
But that's like how it would work.
I get it. I didn't feel like there was much of a story going on.
All right, I have to say, like, one of my favorite scenes. So, to catch up the viewer, every time I watch this, I get so hungry for Italian food. But they eat, like, through the entire thing, but the best scene is when they're in prison, and he takes the razor blade, and he's cutting the garlic so thin that it melts in the pan. I'm like, yes. So, we had an Italian feast to watch this, and it was great. It was really great because our mother made most of it, even though it was my idea. And she didn't stay to watch the film because it was too gross.
Bloody. Too bloody. I mean, fair enough. There's a lot of gore.
She's not wrong.
To finish my point, what was my point? Wolf of Wall Street, it started up, there was always, like, building tension. There's always, like, oh, no, he's in trouble. And
he's
then
getting more in trouble,
and then he's in jail. And then it does kind of end weakly, I think, where he's, like, out of jail, because that's, again, how the real story of his life ended. But still, I felt that arc better.
But you feel like the tension builds upon itself in a cohesive way.
Well, also what I like about that movie, it's explicitly a comedy until it isn't. Like, it's very funny, like, oh, haha, what a crazy, cool life he has. And then it's like the last scene where he like kidnaps his own daughter and he's like driving away. And it's just like such a tonal shift. You're like, okay, I get it. He's really, really bad and I should feel bad for liking him. And it's just, I felt that was so effective.
I didn't think it was effective because I didn't think it was enough payoff. Like, he's actually been a bad person this whole time, but you're too into it. But maybe that's actually true with all of Scorsese's films, though, because it's probably kind of true in Casino. And
I felt it was like, oh, wow, the movie... It wanted you to say, it sucked you in, and then it just like said, F off for you thinking that he was a good guy, because they're so terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Goodfellas, it's good, but
that's fair.
I don't know.
It's fair. I thought the characters were actually really well drawn out, and the acting was just phenomenal.
Very good acting.
I don't think anybody was a weak link there. I think in gangster movies, the women are usually a little shortchanged. And I thought Karen was actually a pretty good character. I mean, not good character, but like she was complicit and she was not a good person, but in a different way.
She was interesting.
Yeah, she was interesting.
She had depth, yeah, for sure.
Like, not like Diane Keaton in Godfather.
Yeah, I don't know that reference.
Which, if you, just like the sad put upon wife in a crime syndicate is usually the way they go. Or the pretty shallow hot wife. Or, like, she was interesting, which I really, really liked. I do find it hard to watch Joe Pesci, which maybe he really deserves that Oscar, because he was just so fucking crazy.
Really? That just like...
I don't know, like some scenes, I was just like so uncomfortable. Like when he shot that kid... just because he just said something mean to him. Which,
that was a good scene.
That was a really good scene.
Yeah, the acting was all really good.
I just thought, and I think that was actually very effective. Like, maybe more so than Wolf of Wall Street. They did poke holes in this great life of theirs, like where they would just fucking murder people all the time. And that was just a way of life.
Yeah. There were some scenes where just like... It was either really doing a great job at portraying this lifestyle, or it was just confusing, and I don't know which side it's on. Like the scene where Joe Pesci is like, "Oh, you think I'm funny? You think I'm funny like a clown?" Like some people might watch that scene and go, "Oh wow, he's really intimidating." I was just watching like, I don't get it. I don't get why he's doing that to his friend. I just don't understand, and I felt like it's more confusing. I couldn't get over just why.
I thought it was just like a little silly bravado thing.
It was, but I couldn't get over I don't get it.
Oh, remember how Ray Liotta has the weirdest effing laugh?
It looks so strange. I couldn't get over it. That was maybe I was really drawn out of that scene.
I really... So I'm just going through my notes. I really loved... I also just love the way Scorsese uses narration. And I think it's almost a little lazy, but I still really like it.
What do you mean?
Just this is the thing he does in his best movies, I think. Just the narration thing.
Yeah.
Ever since I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
That was good. Yeah,
I liked it.
That's a common thing with Scorsese films. The narration, the freeze frame. There is the
long shot.
There's the trial scene where everybody is frozen in what's the name? Henry Hill?
Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta just talks right to the camera and like walks out of the stage. Which again is the thing they did in Wolf of Wall Street, but I thought a lot better because that happens at the beginning of the film when it's a lot more lighthearted. And I thought that was really bizarrely out of place in that section.
Oh, I thought it was really cool.
It's cool, but it just didn't work as well as it could have, I thought.
Do you like the single shot thing?
Oh, totally.
I thought it was really cool, but I think sometimes filmmakers can get a little, like, it's almost like a, look how cool I am as a filmmaker that I can do these really long
I can't
shots.
think of an example where this happened and I thought that. I think it's always too
Gravity.
Cool. I've never seen that in that film.
I haven't either, but I heard.
Gravity's good. You haven't seen it?
No, I just saw the long shot part, and I was like, I don't get it.
No, I always think it's cool. I get it. It could be overused, but just I think it's too cool. I'm sold by it, even if it's excessive.
So there's this one scene where somebody is fresh with Karen, the female lead.
Oh yeah.
And this is when they first start to date, and Henry just like, okay, I'm gonna go beat the shit out of this guy with the butt of my gun. And I thought that was the first like really, really violent part of the film, and it was just so convincing, like the sound of it and the blooding of his face, and I was just like, whoa!
It was tense.
It was a really intense scene. I was just like, wow, I'm very convinced.
Fun fact about that scene. Ray Liotta's mom had just passed away, so he used his anger from that to really drive the gun down.
Oh, that's really.
I mean, the guy's okay though. He didn't really hit a guy.
it was a movie, so.
It was a movie.
I'm asking. You didn't actually hit the guy.
I don't know that.
Research.
Oh man. I wrote, seems like a lot of hilarious Italian gangster stereotypes, like, oh,
Mamma mia! No.
oh, look at Tone over here.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Don't.
Edit.
That was awful. Yeah, they all seem really oversensitive. It feels like a lot of their problems would be solved if they could just like take a joke and just kind of chill sometimes. And
But I believe that. I believe
Yeah.
if you're like really hungry for power, you're really sensitive that somebody's disrespecting you.
yeah.
So.
Near the very end, I thought Ray Liotta really looked like he was on drugs. Like,
Yes.
he looked so awful.
Yes. That was a convincing performance for sure.
Yeah, that is all my stray observations, really. I think, so here's my grander point about the romanticizing, though, is, so I think people think of, like, the Italian mob, like, I mean, they're still bad guys or whatever, but there is kind of this, like, coolness about it.
Totally.
And especially, like, I gotta say it, like, people don't think about people of color, like, gangs like that in the same way, right? But it is the same.
Yes.
Like the body counts and the murder and like it's not but it's a family and it's all the same.
Yeah.
But there's a certain romanticism there. Although it's really funny because I know the Italian American community does not like these films at all.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's actually a whole anti-defamation league for Italians that like they boycott this kind of stuff. Like they were very famous around when The Sopranos started, and they're like, this is not cool. This is not who we are as a community.
That's fair. That seems a valid complaint.
I suppose so. You know, I wonder what our brother would think about this.
You know what? We should have a segment on our show called Roll Call where we call him. Let's just do that for this episode.
Yeah, let's do that. That would be fun.
This will be a new thing. Call Brother John.
Calling Brother John.
Here we go.
Here we go.
John, thanks for calling in. You were on the air with Flahertys on Films. Today we are talking about Goodfellas, the movie Martin Scorsese in 1990. Do you have any thoughts about that movie?
First of all, Flaherty's on film. When did you guys get a title?
That's our title.
Just deal with it.
We like alliteration.
Oh, okay. Well, second question. Are you guys actually taping this done?
Yes.
Let me check. Yes, I see the red light. We are recording.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, Goodfellas. Well, let me tell you about a really good baked ziti.
A really good magazine?
Baked ziti.
Oh.
Come on, he gets so into the Italian food. That's awesome.
It is good. That is good. We talked about it. We were into the Italian food. We had Italian food while we saw the movie.
Yeah.
Mom brought over a dish and then she left right away.
Because she doesn't like bloody movies.
It was really convenient for us.
She watches it all the time. She's such a liar.
Really?
What?
What do you mean she watches it all the time?
Well, she sucks it up and watches them, and then she just kind of complains like she does. Oh, wait, sorry, we're doing inside jokes. We probably shouldn't be doing that. But yes, watching Italian food while watching Goodfellas. Good call.
Oh, yeah. No, we were smart about that. Okay, so do you like the movie or not?
Yeah, I generally like it. I mean, here's the thing. It feels like, as a stereotype, all mob movies kind of go that way. We're like, oh, they're hard scrabble, and they're all kind of a family, and then they get too big for their britches. And then, it all goes to hell. Mm-hmm. Doesn't it feel like that's always the arc of those movies?
So, too generic.
Yeah. Scarface was like that, totally. Oh, Michelle is saying Scarface followed the exact same arc except Cubans.
Yes.
Godfather, yep.
Godfather does not follow that, I would argue, but that's a discussion for another time because it is also on the AFI list.
Yes.
Good call. Though, I suppose we're thinking of Godfather, all three of them.
Well, you only need to see the first two. 1 and 2 are on the list.
Oh, good point. Michelle is saying that we're actually only talking about the first two because the third isn't a real movie.
Okay, well, it's not. We're talking about Goodfellas. I don't know what we're doing.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Ray Liotta. Joe Pesci won an Oscar.
Really?
That was my reaction, but I guess he was very good in it.
Yeah, he did fine. I don't know what you guys are on. He did a
You
great
know
job.
what it is? This was the first movie where Joe Pesci was really Joe Pesci, and it became a stereotype after that movie.
Huh. Oh,
That
okay.
totally makes sense.
All right.
Like when he was in Home Alone.
So this was okay.
That is the only other Joe Pesci movie I'm aware of. Oh, and My Cousin Vinny, I guess.
Well, yeah.
And Casino?
See, was he in Casino?
Yeah, he was in Casino.
Yeah, he plays literally the same character in all these movies.
Yes, he did. He made exactly.
Well, I mean,
the same
Robert De
person.
Niro plays the same character in every film as well.
True.
Sure, but he didn't win an Oscar, so we're not talking about him.
I'm sure he's won an Oscar.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
What?
But he didn't win an Oscar in that movie.
No, he did not. Joe
again,
Pesci
that's
was
what he
the
said.
only one who won for the whole film.
Yeah, that seems all right. I still think my theory is correct, though.
Okay.
What's your grade for the movie, John?
For the first time I saw it, I think it was I really liked it, but honestly, every time somebody goes way too far into the drug scene, it kind of makes me a little skeevy, because of my good, wholesome background.
Right, you're very pure.
I'd give it a B.
B.
That is exactly what we gave it.
We
Oh,
so
all
like.
right, that seems fair. That seems fair.
So did you not like Wolf of Wall Street then?
No, I really did not.
Whoa. Mikey loves Wolf of Wall
I
Street.
like the movie a lot. Disagreement. Okay, well,
But
thanks.
you know what? I also liked Blade Runner. So that is a movie.
Okay, Jesus. We are recording. Can you?
But the sequel's coming out soon.
Oh
I'm
my
really
God.
excited.
Oh man, I can't wait to see Ryan Gosling look blankly into the camera. Oh, it's gonna be so good.
Actually, I do want to see
Oh,
that.
guys, if you really want a good movie, Dunkirk comes out in 1 week.
Oh, I do want to see
I also
that.
want to. That was a really good trailer.
I heard it's mostly a silent film. Like it does.
We could do like a 3-hour Flaherty film. What is it? Films on Flaherty, something like
Flaherty's
that.
on film.
Flaherty's
Oh
on
yeah,
films.
I could talk about that movie, and I haven't even seen it yet for like 8 hours.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, thanks for your opinion, John. We'll talk to you later.
Oh, and Michelle says you should go see Baby Driver.
We've already seen it. It's really good.
Okay, good.
All right.
We're gonna go back to walking now.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye. And that was roll call.
All right. Would this film go on your personal top AFI? Probably. I think Scorsese did a lot of interesting new things in it. Like, I think it's hard to do an original gangster film. And
Is it?
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Why?
I don't know. Because, like,
Don't just say things.
I can say whatever I want. Because like there's like The Godfather is the genre definer of it, and I thought Goodfellas was really different in a lot of cool ways.
Sure.
I guess you're right. I haven't seen all the gangster films, but I just thought it was interesting and it was funny and it was. But like for AFI purposes, the acting was so good. The
It's really
cinematography
good.
was interesting.
It's really good.
Yeah, so it would. I would put it on my AFI.
Okay, well, on the top of your AFI list? It's your favorite movie.
This is not my favorite movie.
Oh, okay. Well, so second.
It's probably like 80th.
80th. That's pretty far down.
It's not that.
It would not go on my list because I think I don't respect the concept of the AFI list where it's like put movies that were great in their own time. My AFI list is just my favorite movies because I don't know, if when does it come out?
1990.
Your laptop is not a touchscreen.
No.
Because I don't know if you're in 1990 and you saw this movie, what do you think? Like I don't It's just, I've seen it now, and Wolf of Wall Street is better, and it's like the same movie. It's a good replacement.
But AFI isn't like what is the best movie.
That's
to
my
you.
point.
So you're bulldozing the whole concept.
Yes.
Okay.
My personal AFI is my just favorite movies.
Fine.
And I'm not going to have the same movie twice.
But you did like the film.
Yes.
I liked it, and I feel like I've been defending it a lot, but I actually feel like I've seen it too many times.
Really?
I liked it less this viewing.
Oh, that's too bad.
Because it's just been... I think it was a movie that used to be on TV a lot.
Oh, sure. That's actually weird, because there's a lot of violence and swearing.
A lot of swears, a lot of violence. I mean, it wasn't the whole movie. It wasn't a faithful reproduction of the theatrical release. So let's give it a grade. I'm going to give it a solid B.
That was going to be mine. B.
Jesus.
Yeah. Fuck.
Forget about it. God, I don't feel good about that.
It's classy.
This is really classic. Okay, that's it for Flahertys on Films. Join us next week when we discuss the fun romp, Sophie's Choice.
And cut!